Hey everyone, welcome to this video tutorial on how to create a checkpoint so that when you die, you'll always respawn at least at that checkpoint, if not further, and you never need to worry about spawning back in the level. Okay, so to begin, you're going to want to head over to your starter content folder, and in that folder, go over to shapes, and we just need to pick something to be our checkpoint, something visible, and likewise, if you want to design something in Maya and use that as your checkpoint, that will work as well. For this, I'm going to use this tube shape over here. I'm going to go ahead and right click on it and just duplicate that and call it check underscore point. And you could call it whatever you want, but checkpoint for me works pretty well. And if you ever notice this little star thing next to it, if you hold Control and press S, you'll save it. So that's something I haven't been doing, but it helps save essential things into your project. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, drag that out, and then I'm going to adjust the scale of that so it looks more like a little spawn point, and then we'll just kind of spawn in the middle of it. And I'm just going to work with one right now, but later on we're going to create a second one. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. If you can go ahead to its blueprints, so have it selected, go to blueprints, and checkpoint blueprint or checkpoint BP will be fine for this, and let's go ahead and create that blueprint. Then all we need to do for the blueprint for right now is add a box mesh to it. So let's scroll down to a box collision, okay, and then select that, and then use your W, E, and R keys to adjust the box to fit the need of the project. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Okay, and we could also rename the box over here to check underscore point underscore box or something like that. Cool. So now we got a checkpoint box, we got our checkpoint. Let's compile and save this. Next, let's enter the character blueprint. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this for now. Select the character and edit their blueprint. Okay, so some things have happened, but feel free to ignore all this. It's not relevant right now. And let's create a new variable. So we're going to add a variable, and let's call this respawn. That's going to be our respawn variable. And our respawn is based off of a location. So we're going to go from type Boolean to type transform. Okay, and then go to compile and save it. And what this is going to allow us to do is specify like a direct respawn location. Okay, so I'm going to leave all these numbers as they are for now, but we're going to go ahead, create a function, and then we're going to maybe manipulate those. So to create a function over here, there's an option called functions. Click on the plus to add a function, and let's just call this respawn underscore character. Okay, now this is completely editable by us, so we can essentially create a program, and whenever we want we could then trigger this program. And every time this runs, we're going to just spawn an actor. So type spawn actor from class, and we're going to spawn our third person character. Okay, so right over there, third person character. And we also need a location, so let's go ahead and add an input to our respawn character. So go new input, and then specify for your inputs, we're going to call this a spawn underscore location. Okay, and we're going to set that to transform, just kind of like our other one. And then connect the spawn location to the spawn transform. Drag off of this node, and we're going to do a possess. Okay, you might have to turn off context sensitive for this. And then we're going to possess the character, this third person character. We're going to possess it, and then we have to get the player controller so that we can control it. Okay, without the controller you can't control the pawn. Okay, so to break down what this function does, when our character dies, it will respawn that character, the third person character, and it will base it off of a location of our choosing, and then we gain control of that character. So now go ahead, compile this, save it, and this function should be good to go. Before we head over back to the box collision, head back to your respawn counter, which before we said let's keep these all at 0. Now though, let's go ahead and put in the respawn location, the current respawn location of the character. So the X is -7 to 50, and this is just the starting. This can change later on. This is 390, and then the other one's a little over 226, so I'll just go ahead and say 227. Okay, and then everything else matches up, so compile, save this, and respawn is good to go. Okay, let's now go back to this checkpoint. Select that, and let's edit the blueprint. And just make sure the box is selected. Go down to on components, begin overlap, the second one, and then just open up the event graph so we have our box over here of the command. Okay, so let's first cast this to third person character, and our third person character being the other actor. Then we want to drag off our third person character, and we're going to set our respawn. That's our current location of where we're respawning, and connect this to that. Okay, so our respawn location is dependent on whether or not we've hit that checkpoint, the checkpoint being this box collision over here, which I thought I renamed, but maybe I didn't. So I'll just go ahead and drag that over. Now let's get the location of the box. So drag off of it and go to Get World Transform. So now we have the complete location of it, but this includes location, rotation, and scale, and we only need the first two. So we're going to break this transform by dragging off of it and typing in break transform. Now in order to not spawn into the floor, we're going to drag off location first. We're going to type vector plus vector. Okay. And make sure that your Z location is up like 150 units or so. Otherwise, you sometimes spawn inside of the floor and then you get trapped there or you fall through the map. Okay. Then all that's left is to make the transform. So go to make transform right there. Okay. And we've added the 150 to our current location of the box. The rotation is just going to be the location, or of not the box, of the cylinder, and then our scale, we're just going to leave it at 111. So I could take this and connect it over to there. I'm going to kind of just adjust this a little. Okay, so now what we have is something that should hopefully respawn us, but let's go ahead and find out. Let's compile this, save it, and we're right next to the box, so I'm just going to go ahead, play this level. I'm going to run into the box like I just did, and now I'm going to die by my hit, collision, boom, and you'll notice that I didn't respawn. Okay, so the reason why I didn't respawn is probably something to do with the level editor and how my character kind of dies right now from the previous video, but I don't think I set it with the checkpoint. So let's first go to the character and edit the blueprint, and just make sure that your respawn, make sure this eye is open, and that's just going to make respawn visible throughout the entire program so that we can use it in our level editor. Then compile and save it. Go over to your level editor, open level blueprint, and what we currently have for our character when they die is that, when their health is equal to 0, then destroy the actor and then respawn the actor at a specific location, but that location now can vary based on the checkpoint. Okay, my recording software just glitched out, but pretty much delete all that thing I was just talking about from the beginning to the end of it, have it all selected, and delete it out of your level blueprint. We're not going to use it from there, we're going to reference it from the character, okay? So once it's been removed, close out of your level blueprint and go over to your character. Go to edit blueprint for your character, and what you're going to need to do, I just went ahead and created it, and I'll explain. I'll actually even rebuild it. I just move these over. Okay, we're gonna create an event tick. Okay, so just do event tick, have that selected. Okay, and I already made one. And then you're going to get a cast a third person character. That third person character is yourself, so your character itself. So you just have to have this selected character on the screen there, and then you could, or actually you don't, you can just literally right click off the object and type self to get a reference to self, because you are inside the third person character right now. And then we need to create a branch condition, and our condition is if our health is less than or equal to 0, our character is dead then. So I got this less than or equal to thing just by, let me start with the health. I got the health by just dragging it off of here, get health, okay? And then I did a comparison on that by just doing less than or equal to float, float less than equal to float, and that was my condition that I connected to the branch. I got branch by typing in branch. Okay, then what we're going to do is respawn the character first, and we're going to respawn it at the location of respawn. Okay, so that location we collected from the box, that's the respawn location. And then we're going to destroy our old actor. Okay, so when I compile and save this and run it, if I just run into the sphere, I die and respawn. If I hit the checkpoint first and run, now I respawn at this checkpoint. Okay, and it was actually causing me a little bit of problems at the beginning, but it was because I was destroying the actor first and then respawning the actor. So let me kind of show you what I mean by that. Let me break these links. So turns out if you destroy the actor before you've respawned your new one, like the old information's all gone. So you can't respawn it because it doesn't exist anymore. So I was actually trying to get this to work for a little bit, and no matter what I did, it was just like you run into the object and you just die and nothing happens. So the reason is, your character is still there, but it's like you never possessed them, you never actually got the character. It's not really there, I guess, is a good way of putting it. So yeah, all you need to do is make that little fix there, and then your respawn locations work really nicely. So let me get that back to the original order. Okay, let me compile and save this one last time before we duplicate some things. Okay, so boom, now I'm there, hit the checkpoint, boom, now I'm at the checkpoint. Awesome. Okay, so now that we've made one checkpoint, we should be able to create others. If you wanted to just duplicate what you have, you should be able to just hold the Alt key and then drag off a new one like that. So you can see I just held Alt, dragged off a new one. And let's just test this out. I'm going to hit play, hit this checkpoint first, run, hit the box, I died, but I respawn. Let me hit the new checkpoint and then jump over and then get hit by the box, and boom, I'm at the next checkpoint. Okay, so those are checkpoints, and that's just one way you can get them to work. Of course, we could still probably reference the old checkpoint again, but that shouldn't be a big deal. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, this is me signing out. Peace.